Hi, my name is Lena, welcome to my channel, and this is my weekend reads. I have finished the second book in the Old Man's War series by John Scalzi, The Ghost Brigades. I really like the first one, The Old Man's War. Unfortunately, I don't think that I talked well enough about it, so I should have probably told you last time that if you like Starship Troopers, the movie of 1997 with Caspar Van Dien, you might like this book. It also reminded me for some reason about Altered Carbon, the TV series of 2018. In the first book, we are following John Perry, who was an elderly man. He was 75. He signed up to become an infantryman with Colonial Defense Force in the hopes that he will get a better body. So in the hopes that his body will be somehow whipped and shaped, enhanced, so he will be younger again. And we follow him through as an old man, making friends among elderly people who also signed up for this program. And we follow him through the training, and we follow him through some action. And he's just an infantryman, so he doesn't have any clearance at all, and he doesn't have enough information. But we have this feeling that something isn't right, that something is quite wrong, this disturbing feeling, which never gets justified, so we don't. Well, small things, they get to John Perry eventually, but he doesn't have the whole picture. Still, he ends up on a mission, going on a mission with special forces, with Colonial Defense Special Forces, and it was fun. It's some books are clearly written for fun, and then the author gets an idea. The author starts building world for us, proving some ideas for us, probably trying to moralize us, and that's when fun more or less stops. I still liked the Ghost Brigades very much. I liked it, but it's clear that it was, for me, it's clear that it was more controlled by John Scalzi, and I don't like feeling this control. I like the fun of it. I don't like feeling that somebody built something brick by brick for me. I don't want to see it. So in the second book, we more or less follow Jane Sagan. She was a special forces officer who was supposed to babysit John Perry on the mission. So we know her, and we kind of like her. And she's also an intelligence officer, so she has a much higher clearance. So she has some information, not a lot of it, but she has some information. And she has an information that 3 alien races formed an alliance against human race. So all human colonists are in danger. And Jane is special forces. So special forces, they basically born as grown-up people with a template of a personality. And within a year, they form through training and through studying, they form some kind of personality, but they still have a kind of a complex. So they call everybody else real born, and they probably can feel that they weren't real born. And this time we know about this alliance of 3 alien races, and we know about a human traitor, Charles Boutin. So what they did, those colonial union authorities, they cloned Charles Boutin or manufactured Charles Boutin and tried to put some sort of scan of his consciousness in him, but it didn't work out. So they actually got another special forces soldier, a grown-up man with a template of a personality with a computer to help him to form some personality, to understand some concepts. So basically we follow this soldier, Jared Dirac, and we follow him through forming friendships and through training and through some action. And he goes on a very important mission, and Jane Sagan has to babysit him. So it's this time around it was much more controlled because John Scalzi was building a bigger picture for us, kind of, sort of, and even having finished this book, I still don't know what's going on in this colonial union. Well, I know what's at stake, but I still don't know what's going on. Well, something bad, apparently. And I don't like this idea that colonial union has so much control over their soldiers and over their soldiers' munitions. Well, it's suspicious. Everything's suspicious, and nothing is clear, but kind of disturbing. So Jane, I like Jane Sagan, but she's not John Perry. So John Perry has 75 years of experience. So he's not a saint, but he has some sort of moral compass. Jane is very different. She was born with a purpose to save colonists, to keep them safe. And basically what she does is taking back colonies and her other duties to identify the remains of those colonists. So I think there is very little Jane can't do if colonial union asks her for the sake of colonists to do it. It's the second book. It's kind of all about it's a hard job, it's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. I still like Jared very much. I still liked the humor, John Scalzi's humor. It was enjoyable. It was fun. I wanted to read you some extract, but then I decided, why would I spoil such fun for you? This, coming across this fun piece and just reading it. So I won't be reading anything. Sorry. I really like this series, The Old Man's War, and I will continue with the series. Then I started reading Endymion by Dan Simmons, and I like it very much. Of course, where writing style is concerned, then Simmons is much, much better than John Scalzi. Sorry. It's very enjoyable. And I have read about third of the book. And I enjoy it very much. Well, basically, it's connected to the first two books in Hyperion Cantos, but at the same time, it's a separate story. So it's an ex-soldier. He was a game preserver. Well, he was a guide for hunters when we met him. He was a guide for hunters, and something happened, and he cannot come back to his previous life. And Martin Selinus, a poet from Hyperion and from the fall of Hyperion, asked him to go on a mission, saving a child, Enea, this child of Bronlemia and Keats hybrid. So this unique child. And the church and parks. So basically, it all happens in the world where church is a military organization. It's also a government on many planets, and it's a dominant religion because they can actually offer real immortality, and people take this immortality, take the cross. So basically, this guy, Endymion, he has to save Enea from the entire army of officers of the church, and it's an adventure. And it's very enjoyable. Sorry for doing such a bad job talking about this book. So it's a buddy read with Todd the Librarian, and I enjoy it very much. I like it even more than the audiobook I was listening to some years back. I like reading it. Then I'm reading Istanbul, A Tale of Three Cities by Bettany Hughes. And I like it. It's an easy read. It's an interesting read. Unfortunately, it's so packed with information. I have read about 85 pages, and she starts basically with Stone Age, and we are already on the Constantinople part. So I read about Greeks coming to Byzantium. I read about Greeks fighting Persians, and I read about Roman emperors fighting Roman emperors and sacking the city and basically rebuilding the city. And now I guess we are at the Christian part of it. So it's Christianity coming to power in the Constantinople, in the city, in the Byzantium city. And it's very interesting. And of course, Bettany Hughes made me want to read this book. Because Herodotus, the histories, she interested me in those Greek opportunists, those historical figures, very interesting historical figures that ruled in Byzantium for some time. Well, I think I have been reading also letters by Cicero to his letters to Atticus, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. I will have something more to say to you in a week about it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and happy reading.